Whoo, I am impressed. Something in this makes me sick to my stomach. And I did not think I was gonna purchase it, but I am so happy to have this.
Like a bougie crawfish boil, but a crawfish boil nonetheless.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm super excited because I'm going to be talking about a wonderful masterclass that I attended in June. Today we're going to be discussing the Chris Collins Anima Collection. So I was able to attend a masterclass featuring Chris Collins and Fab Finds by Ketra here on YouTube. So if you guys want to know what my thoughts and opinions are on the Anima Collection, do you need it? Do I need it? Did I buy anything? Basically, if you'd like to know about Chris Collins' Anima Collection, then please keep watching. So I have to give such a huge shout out to Fab Finds by Ketra here on YouTube. I've been subscribed to her and watching her content for literally years and years and years. She is such a sweetheart. She reached out and told me that she was going to be doing a masterclass with Chris Collins. And I said, oh, I definitely want to go. Now, this was a weekend that I was away celebrating my birthday, but I made time to get back to my iPad and join this masterclass because you guys know I'm a fragrance lover. I was just so appreciative. So thank you so much to Fab Finds by Ketra. And if you guys are not following her, I will link her channel down below. So if you guys are not familiar with Mr. Chris Collins is a perfumer. He has his own line. He is the first Black-owned brand to be featured in Sephora as far as fragrance. And that by itself is that's very commendable. Like, I have to give it to him for that. I have heard of Chris Collins before. I think I first heard of his line maybe a year ago, but I could never find his scents in Sephora. So I was like, well, I guess I'll just have to wait until I have the opportunity. And lo and behold, the opportunity presented itself. So Chris Collins is actually a model. Well, he might be a former model now, I'm not sure, but he worked for Ralph Lauren. And I mean, he's obviously a model. Like, have you seen him? But he always had a love for fragrance. So that's how he got into designing his own fragrance. I believe he said he went and studied under Killian. So he is a lover of fragrance. So right off the bat, I was super excited about this collection and the masterclass and just to learn more about him, because as a fragrance lover myself, like, I have no clue how one would get started creating their own fragrance line. And for him to be in Nordstrom, Saks, I think Neiman Marcus, Sephora, like, that is huge. Now, I must preface this video by saying, you guys know how I do my fragrance reviews. I am very honest. I try not to be brutally honest because I just don't think that that's very kind, but I hold fragrances to a high esteem, especially when I start learning about the brand, about the perfumers, about the nose behind perfumes, especially when I realize that they are niche fragrances, where they're sold, the price point, all those things kind of put an idea in my head of what the scent experience is going to be like. So take that into consideration, that this is going to be a review just like all my other reviews, whether I know the person personally, whether I've attended a masterclass, or whether I just walk into a Nordstrom or Sephora to purchase a scent. I always review it with the same standards. So take that into consideration, okay? Because yeah. So before the masterclass, I did receive this collection from the Anima line. As part of the Anima collection, you have Lost in Paradise, Long Kiss Goodnight, Citrus Grandis, and it also comes with this beautiful, beautiful case. So this travel size atomizer, this is the best, most high quality, luxurious, and most beautiful travel atomizer I've ever seen. First of all, it's very weighty. It also has maybe a magnet inside. The closure, like, y'all know I'm a stickler for things, and I think when you're spending upwards of $50 for a travel size or $180 to $250 for a full size fragrance, you look for the little details. Those are the things that I like. This is the best travel size atomizer, holder, container, whatever you want to call it. Chris Collins is also engraved in the top. Just the presentation and construction of this alone, I was blown away. And I love that you can repurchase these. You don't have to buy the full collection. They do sell these on his website and on Sephora.com. So you can keep either refilling it with your traditional fragrance, or you can keep buying the travel size. So whichever fragrance you like, you can pop it in the case and travel with it. I thought that was a really nice touch. And this is not just like something special for us. You actually can purchase this online, so I will link this down below. And he also threw in this fragrance, which I'm so glad he did. This is African Rooibos, and this is actually not part of the Anima collection. I will put which collection it's part of across the screen, but he threw this in as a little freebie, and I'm so glad he did. So now I just want to tell you guys a little more about Chris Collins overall. I actually learned in the masterclass that Chris Collins has a background in psychology. You guys know that I have a few degrees in psychology, so I thought that was so interesting. Just even as I see myself, like, I don't work in psychology anymore, but I like to see people's progression through their career. How did you end up designing your own fragrances? You worked for Ralph Lauren, you have a background in psychology. I just thought that was so interesting. So he did used to work for Ralph Lauren when he was a model, but he's always had a fond appreciation of fragrance. And so a lot of the bottles and the lines under the Chris Collins world of Chris Collins are reminiscent of the 20s in African American culture, which I thought was so cool. The bottles are actually said to resemble flasks, and I mean, how often do you see fragrances that look like flasks? So I really like the attention to detail that Chris Collins puts into his line. You guys know that I'm a bit of a nerd, so I love when there's a scent story behind a fragrance, and you can truly tell that his collections and his scents themselves are reminiscent, and they're kind of like nostalgic for different points and periods in his life maybe. So I love learning more about his fragrances, and it got me really excited to try the line. So let's talk about the fragrances in the Anima collection. First, I want to talk about is Lost in Paradise. This is my favorite one from the collection overall. I did take some notes from the masterclass. So this is a coconut, sea salt, watery, aquatic peach scent. I will be honest, when I first tried this scent, I thought, oh, it kind of smells like all the other coconut scents, and I wasn't too fond of it. I started wearing this baby more and more because I tried this while I was actually on vacation for my birthday, and I fell in love. It has wonderful longevity. It projects a nice amount as well, and it's different from the other coconut beachy type scents because it's fresh. This is like if I were to mix coconut water, salty notes, and fresh laundry. It's just a very fresh, crisp, cold nature to it that I cannot get enough of. I mean, obviously, as you can see, I've used a ton of this. Lost in Paradise may start out as something that you've smelled in another line, but sit with it for a moment because you may really love it. I loved it so much, I'll just spoil it, that I had to purchase the full-size bottle. So let's get into this right now. I was so excited, you guys. It took me a month because y'all know that I'm still on a fragrance ban technically, but I just couldn't get enough of this fragrance. I was taking it with me all the time. I was mixing it with other scents, and y'all know that I am not really a fragrance layering gal, but I could not get enough. It was intense, creamy, it was aquatic, salty, it was fresh. It makes me so happy. The packaging experience, beautiful. The bottle, beautiful. Like I said, these bottles are reminiscent of little flasks, and I think they do the job. Now, I will say that I wish this were a little bigger. So this is a 1.7 ounce bottle of eau de parfum, and I believe this cost $180. So the price point is nice, but I would love to see this offered in a 3.4 ounce bottle. But whoo, baby, when I tell you this is the scent of summer, the scent of vacation. If you love a coconut water, a salty coconut with some freshness, please try Lost in Paradise. I will be honest, it was not a fan favorite of mine at first, but I am so glad that I sat with it because I broke my fragrance ban. Like, I broke it. This is a winner. Now, I do also want to say, in this travel size, you can unscrew the top. I mean, I don't know if technically you're supposed to, but you can unscrew it and refill it. So if you want to continue to travel with this, you can. Okay, let's get on to our second scent, and this is Long Kiss Goodnight. Now, as we were sitting through the masterclass, I think this was the fan favorite of all the other ladies. They were obsessed, and I am gonna spray it again just to jog my memory. The atomizers are beautiful. This is like a heavy oud rose, deep, intense, very, he calls his scents genderless, and it is very genderless. It's sexy, it's deep, it's for a date night. I mean, you could wear this during the day, I would, but this smells like Barry Mugler's Angel to me. It's not pretty. It just, I wanted a little something more, but I will continue to sit with this. But let me read to you guys a little about this fragrance. This was actually inspired by the film Long Kiss Goodnight. How I'm inspired to go look at it. This is a floral, woody, earthy scent. It has some coffee note in it. I like it, but it wasn't enough for me. It reminds me of an angel, something that I've smelled before, but the girls love this. And I think that women like this because they think of it on a man. Y'all know that I like the masculine scents, but this is not a favorite of mine. It just smells... It's nothing too unique. It's beautiful though. I think if you love a rosy, oud, woodsy, deep scent, you might like this. Just not a fan favorite for me. Okay, and lastly from the Anima collection, we have Citrus Grandis. Let me read to you guys about Citrus Grandis. So this is an interesting citrus because it uses the note pomelo, which is an Asian grapefruit, I believe. And you guys know that citrus scents are usually very fresh and they don't have the best longevity. This is the most interesting citrus scent I've ever tried, and I think because of the pomelo. We wanted to create a fresh, interesting, and long-lasting pomelo. It also has yuzu in it. It's very green and very sharp. Now, I can't attest to the longevity because this makes my stomach hurt. I have to scrub it off. I don't know if it's the pomelo note or what have you. Something in this makes me sick to my stomach. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad scent. It is a beautiful scent. It's very tart, fresh, and green, a little herbaceous. But it does something to me that I cannot handle. So Citrus Grandis for me is a definite no. I do like that it's different. I don't think I've ever smelled pomelo in a fragrance. And once again, this was a fan favorite of the other ladies in the masterclass. But for me, I can't even spray this because I'll probably be gagging and I don't want to do that. Yeah, not one of my likes, but it's a different take on a citrus that's fresh, tart, but more interesting than any citrus you have probably tried. So if you're a citrus lover, I think you would like Citrus Grandis. And those are all the babies in the Anima collection, you guys. I will say that after trying the Anima line before I had to sit with Lost in Paradise, I wanted more. I wanted heavier, sexy, deep, intense, very different scents. And so what I will say is that I don't think the Anima collection is gonna be my favorite of all his collections, and I'll list them on the screen. Now, Lost in Paradise, she's my girl, but the other fragrances in the collection just didn't do it for me. I just don't think this is my style. They're not bad fragrances, they're just not ones that I am drawn to. But thankfully, he sent an extra travel size of African Rooibos because I need this scent next. Now, you guys know that I love a deep, sexy, interesting scent. So let me read to you guys about African Rooibos before I spray it so you guys can see what I initially thought. So Rooibos is actually a tea from Africa, and this scent has fresh and dusty earth notes with cinnamon and cardamom. He said that this would pair well with a lactonic fragrance, and I do own Liquid Imaginaire's Blanche Bête, so I may have to mix the two. He also also said that this layers well with Byredo's Bow de Freak, and I can see that because they give me a spicy, fresh, kind of like aquatic nature to them. So let me let you all experience my first impression of African Rooibos. This one did it for me. I'm gonna spray it on the back of this paper too. Ooh. 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 Now you guys know when I have that experience off the bat, that means I love something. I will be honest, I am a harsh critic of fragrances because I want that experience every time. And I'm learning that I don't always have to love something right off the bat. But as you can see, my experience with African Rooibos, love. So this to me, I get tea, spices, I get cinnamon. Oh, it is just perfection. Now, I grew up around tea because my mother loved drinking tea. I remember going to loose leaf tea stores by my home and sitting there while she picks out her tea. So this is nostalgic for me, but it's also interesting, different, and unique. I have never smelled a fragrance that smelled of Rooibos. Now, I have smelled tea fragrances, but this is a spicy, fresh, kind of herbaceous, woody tea. I mean, I am in love with this. This will definitely be my next scent from Chris Collins. And if you can see on this card right now, that is the concentration of fragrance oil. So these scents are high quality, they're long lasting. Ooh, I am impressed. Now, I will say, I let my friend smell African Rooibos and she thought it smelled like a crawfish.
Oh, this is cute. It almost smells like Bow de Freak though.
It does.
It smells like Bow de Freak with, okay, this is weird. It smells like crawfish. Smell it. It smells like a crawfish boil in Africa. Crawfish boil in Zanzibar. Like a bougie crawfish boil, but a crawfish boil nonetheless.
Now, I don't see that. I just get spices and tea. This is so stunning. It's so spicy. It's so aromatic. This is not going to be everyone's cup of tea, no pun intended. But for me, I love an interesting scent. Sell me something that I've never smelled before. Something where I have to go look up the origin. I am that nerdy fragrance lover, and African Rooibos to me, that is that scent. So I will be purchasing this in the fall time. It is simply stunning. I just can't say enough about it. You guys saw my reaction. Whatever line this is housed in, that's the line for me, because I know that the scents are gonna be sexy and deep and a bit more interesting. And that is what I love. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, me kind of walking you through the Chris Collins Anima collection, and also one bonus, my thoughts and review on Lost in Paradise and how what I once thought about the fragrance has changed. I want to encourage you guys to sit with your fragrances. Don't just make your initial first impression your impression of the fragrance forever. And this was a learning experience for me, because that first day during the masterclass when I smelled Lost in Paradise, I was like, it's too safe, it's too similar to other things. But as I sat with it, I really saw the true beauty in it. And I did not think I was gonna purchase it, but I am so happy to have this in my collection. I will say, once again, I don't think the Anima collection will end up being my favorite, but there are probably going to be a lot other fragrances that he has in his line that I love, and more to come as well. I wanna give a huge thank you once again to Fab Finds by Ketra and Chris Collins for being so gracious and letting all of us into your world of Chris Collins. And I found 2 babies that I am obsessed with. And I'm also so glad that I took time to sit with the fragrances he sent. I won't like everything that I'm gifted. I won't like everything that I smell. But as long as I can find something that speaks my language, that's what I'm looking for. Let me know down below if you have tried the world of Chris Collins, or do you think some of these scents would interest you? I am so sad satisfied with my purchase and I can't wait to make another purchase. I just really love fragrance. As you can see, it just wakes me up and makes me so happy. So leave any comments or questions you all have down below and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.